Something is not normal. A man keeps coming to my clinic. 3 visits in 3 weeks. First, he says he has a cough. Then back pain. Now chest pain. But every time the tests are normal, no fever, no real signs of sickness. He answers my questions, but only with a few words. A little, sometimes. Not really. I try to understand. I ask more questions. He says less. I work as a doctor. My job is to help people feel better. But this patient confuses me. He looks fine. He doesn't ask for medicine. He doesn't seem afraid. He just comes back again and again. I start to wonder, is he hiding something? Does he need help but doesn't know how to ask? Or is there something else? Today, I see his name again on my schedule. Same man. New reason. Headache. I prepare the file. I try to stay calm, but inside I have questions. Why is he here again? Why do I feel nervous before he comes in? Why do I remember his voice after he leaves? I call his name. He walks in. He sits down. I look at him. He says, I have a headache. I nod. I start asking the usual questions, but inside, I know this is not a normal visit. Something is happening, and I don't know what it is yet. Is this just another patient, or is this the start of something I don't expect? I see his name again next week. This time he says he has stomach pain, but the test is normal. I ask, when did it start? He says, yesterday. I ask, did you eat something different? He says, no. I ask, any other symptoms? He says, not really. Every visit feels the same. The reason changes, but the feeling is the same. No answers, no real sickness, only short visits, only silence. I begin to think more. Is he lonely? Is he anxious? Is he afraid of something? I don't know. I want to ask, but I don't want to make a mistake. Maybe he just feels safer here. Maybe he needs attention. But something inside me says it's not that. It feels different. It feels personal. One day, I talk to the nurse. I say, this patient comes many times. I don't think he is sick. She looks surprised. She says, maybe he just likes you. I stay quiet. That idea never crossed my mind. I say, no, that can't be. But then I think, what if she's right? What if he's not here for medicine? What if he's here for me? Now, I don't know what to do. I try to stay professional. I try to focus. But every time I see his name, I feel something strange. Not fear, not anger, just a question. And I can't find the answer yet. Is this something medical or something personal? And what happens if it's both? Another week, another visit. He says he feels dizzy. I ask questions. He gives the same type of answers. Just a little. Since this morning. No, not often. I run a few tests. Everything is normal again. I say, you are okay. He says, okay. I expect him to leave, but he stays quiet for a moment. Then he says, thank you. I nod. He walks out. After that, I check his file. 5 visits in 5 weeks. Different problems, same result, no diagnosis. I sit at my desk and ask myself, what is going on? I'm a doctor. I help people. But I don't know how to help him. Because I don't know why he's really here. I don't talk to anyone about it. I try to forget. But the next week, he returns. This time, no health problem. He just says, I want to talk. I say, about what? He says, about stress. That's new. I listen. He talks a little. He says he feels tired, but not from work. He says he feels confused, but not about life. Then he says nothing else. I ask, what is confusing you? He looks down. He doesn't speak. I wait. He says, nothing important. But I know that's not true. I want to ask more, but I stop myself. I feel something different now. Something outside my job. The next day, he doesn't come. A week passes. 2 weeks. No appointment, no call. I feel strange. I check the system. His name is not there. I say to myself, maybe he's fine now. Maybe he doesn't need to come anymore. But deep inside, I feel something is missing. Then one morning, his name appears again. I feel a mix of surprise and something else. I don't say it out loud, but it's there. He comes in. He says, I feel okay. I ask, then why are you here? He looks at me. He says, I don't know. I say nothing. We sit in silence for a few seconds. Then he says, I didn't come to talk about health. My heart beats fast, but I say, so what did you come to talk about? He says, you. I freeze. This is not part of the job. This is not in the training books. I ask, what about me? He says, I like you. I know this is not normal, but I needed to tell you. I don't know what to say. I just look at him. Then he says, you don't have to say anything. I just wanted to be honest. Then he stands up. Goodbye, he says, and he walks out. Just like that. Now I sit at my desk. I look at his file. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know how I feel. But I know one thing. This is not just another patient. This is something else. It's been 1 week since he left. He said goodbye. He said he liked me. Then he walked away. I wait to see his name again. I check the schedule every day. Nothing. I tell myself, that's good. He should move on. That was not professional, but my heart doesn't agree. Another week passes. No call, no visit, no message. I try to focus on my work. I help other patients. I write reports. I go home. I sleep. I wake up. But something feels empty. I don't want to admit it, but I miss him. Then, on Friday, the receptionist calls me. She says, someone is here to see you. No appointment. I ask, who? She says his name. My heart jumps. I don't answer right away. Then I say, send him in. He walks in. He looks nervous. I don't speak. I wait. He says, I'm sorry for last time. I shake my head. You don't need to say sorry. He says, I didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I say, you didn't. We both stop talking. The silence is long. Then he says, I didn't come today because I'm sick. I nod. I know that already. He continues, I came because I need to ask something. I don't speak. I wait. He says, "Would you like to have coffee with me? Just coffee. Not at the clinic, just as two people." I feel like the room is silent. Everything around me disappears. I think of my answer. I think of the rules, the ethics, the image, but I also think of the truth. I say, "Yes." He looks surprised. Then he smiles. I say, "Not now, but one day soon." He says, "That's enough for me." He thanks me. Then he leaves. This time it feels different. He didn't come with a fake problem. He came with the truth. Now I sit in my office. I look at the door. I feel something new. Not fear, not doubt, just hope. What happens next, I don't know, but I'm ready to find out. 2 days later, I receive a message. It's from him. He says, "Hi, Elena. I know you are busy. Just tell me when you are free." I wait a few hours. Then I reply, "Next Saturday, 5 p.m. He writes back, "Perfect. Thank you." Saturday comes. I finish my work early. I go to the cafe. He is already there. We sit down. We talk. At first it's simple. Where we're from, what we like. Then he says something I don't expect. He says, "There is something I didn't tell you." I look at him. I say, "What is it?" He says, "This was not the first time I saw you. I saw you 6 months ago in a hospital, I think." I ask, "Which hospital?" He says the name. I remember that place. I worked there for 1 day. It was a special case, only 1 shift. He says, "You walked into the room. You were helping another patient. You didn't see me, but I saw you. Just for a moment. But something stayed with me." I listened. He says, "I didn't know your name. I didn't know anything, but I searched. I asked around, and finally I found your clinic. I'm quiet. I say, 'You came all this way, just to meet me?' He nods. 'Yes. I know it sounds strange, but I just wanted to see if maybe you were real.' For a moment, I don't know what to say. I think about all the visits, the fake symptoms, the silence, the goodbye. Now I see everything differently. Then he says something else. I was going to stop. I told myself it was too much, but something told me not to give up. I thought, maybe I'm crazy. But maybe I just believe in something good. I feel something new in my heart. Not confusion, not doubt. Something warm, something strong. Then I say, 'You were right, I am real.' And I think this is real too." We sit in silence, but it's a good silence, a peaceful one. Something has changed, not just the story, but also my heart. He was not just another patient. He was someone who waited, someone who searched, someone who believed. And now he's someone I want to know more. We keep meeting every week, same place, same time. Every Saturday feels special. We talk about small things. We talk about big dreams. I start to believe this is something strong, something true. One day he tells me, "I need to travel, just for a few weeks. It's for work." I say, "Where?" He says the name of a city, far away. I say, "Will you come back?" He smiles. "Of course. I'll be back soon. That Saturday is our last meeting before his trip. We drink coffee. We laugh. He says, "Don't forget me." I say, "How can I forget you?" Then he leaves. A week passes, no message. I wait. I tell myself, he's just busy. Another week, still nothing. I send a message, no answer. I try again, still nothing. I start to worry. I check the news. I check flights. I check everything, but nothing makes sense. He just disappears. 1 month, 2 months, a year, he never comes back. I sit in the cafe alone, same table, same chair. I remember everything. The first visit, the fake symptoms, the moment he told me the truth, the coffee, the smiles, the hope. Some people ask me, "What happened to him?" I say, "He had to leave." They ask, "Will he come back?" I say, "Maybe." But inside, I know he won't. I still don't know why. I don't know what happened. But I do know this. I don't regret anything. He showed me something real, something brave, something beautiful. It didn't last forever, but it was true, and that's enough. Sometimes love is short. Sometimes it ends without warning, but that doesn't make it less real. I will never forget him. I will never forget the man who came into my life with a lie and left with my heart. Love is not always perfect. It does not always last forever. Sometimes love comes for a short time, but it stays in your heart forever. Elena didn't expect love. She didn't plan it, but it came. It changed her. And even when it ended, it left something beautiful. Sometimes the people we meet for a moment teach us lessons for a lifetime. Be open, be honest, be brave, and never forget. Real love is not about how long it stays. It's about how deep it touches your heart.